Hey there, Gemini. Welcome to your November 2019 general love reading. This is Keaghan. I'm actually not going to be on camera with you guys for this reading. It takes a lot to set up all the equipment to do the front-facing camera, and I'm under a bit of a time crunch, so I'm just doing just the cards and getting some readings out for you guys. I am going to be doing 2 readings during the month of November, so this will be covering the first half of the month, and then I'll be back after mid-month for another reading with you guys. I have shuffled these decks before coming on to start the reading, but I'm just going to do a little bit more with them while I'm talking to you guys. So this is for Gemini Sun, Moon, Venus, and Rising. Energies can be reversed in general readings. Crosswatchers are welcome to watch, but do so at your own risk. I don't hold back during the reading, so if I see some sort of behavior in the person that I'm labeling as the non-Gemini in this reading, I will share that. But again, the energies can be reversed in general readings here on YouTube. I'm just going to shuffle this deck as well. I think I'm actually going to start with this Rider-Waite deck, so I'm just going to move this other deck off to the side. So Geminis, I don't have any specific spread actually that I'm doing. I will for the readings that are during the mid-month readings. I have a specific spread planned for those. But for these, I just want to check in with you guys and see what's going on. I feel like the October readings that I did covered a lot of time. So I feel like a lot of the energy from those October readings is still going to be going on through the middle of November. But I did want to check in with you guys here at the first part of the month and see what's going on. So I'm just going to cut a couple of times here and turn some of these cards as I feel they want to be turned. And do one more shuffle. All right, Gemini, we're getting ready to dive into your reading. So let's see what's going on. I'm going to take the top 3 cards off the deck here. The 9 of Wands reversed with the Page of Wands upright, coming out with the 7 of Cups reversed. Bottom of the deck here, we have the Page of Pentacles. So let's take a look just here. See what we get from this, Gemini. So I want to start here with this 9 of Wands that's coming out reversed. Gemini, what I'm getting from this mostly in terms of the energy is really a defensive type of energy. I think that if I look at this, if I look at this strictly from just energy that I'm getting from the cards and doing more of an intuitive type of interpretation of the cards, I do feel like there is something going on with you, Gemini, right now where you're actually being a little bit overwhelmed by some of the... It feels like in a way you're overwhelmed by the choices that need to be made. But I also feel that you're not wanting to communicate about these choices or these decisions right now. You're not wanting to talk a lot about this. You're not wanting to really, you're not wanting to communicate this. You're not wanting to share this with other people. What I get from this page, and you know, this is one of my favorite things about this particular page card. It's a very free-spirited type of energy. And it's interesting because what I hear with this card, as I was saying, like I do feel like this is a fairly defensive type of energy. But I feel like what this is, Gemini, is you don't want to have to explain the choices that you're making. And you're in a state right now where you feel very overwhelmed by just the sheer volume of choices that are having to be made. And I feel like this extends inward to... even connections that I feel like you are contemplating cutting out. I want to just stick with this deck. I'm going to shuffle a little bit more here because I want to take a look at the 7 of Cups. There's interesting energy on this card. Yeah, and I'm really getting this feeling that... One more time. Okay, see what's coming out here. Yeah, see this High Priest, the High Priestess coming out upright here. You are doing a lot of thinking and you're really sitting in your own intuition about choices that need to be made. And you're overwhelmed by these because you're realizing that there are lots of things that you need to make some very solid, definitive choices on. And that can be a little bit overwhelming for Gemini to really have to make choices and have them be what feel like very final conclusions to things, especially in your relationships with people. It's um, it's not a situation where Geminis really enjoy being. They don't like having to make those types of um, final decisions, and these feel very final. But what I want to say here is that you're sitting in your intuition, which is good because a lot of times Geminis can get in their heads too much. They can be very much caught up in thinking about things and analyzing things and trying to work through things mentally. So seeing this high priestess come out in terms of this energy here with the 7 of Cups reversed, that actually makes me feel good. Like I'm happy with that. Um, this is interesting energy here. I'm just going to flip a card off the top and see what's underneath this. Yeah, indecision. It's interesting because at the core, I feel like how you're actually dealing with these difficult decisions. It's interesting that this card came out because that's just the energy that I've been feeling. It's just really hard choices coming up, really difficult decisions, avoiding making those decisions, weighing your options, being at a stalemate, or like not necessarily a stalemate, but being at like a deciding point, right? Like you can't. When this card is reversed, it's more like two people can't agree on something, but when it's upright, for me, I see it as the time has come and you have to make the choice, right? You can't put it off any longer. And you're sitting here with this high priestess energy around these decisions, even though I do feel like you're overwhelmed by them. Behind all of this, sort of sitting at the center of this, um, you don't want to explain yourself. There's a very defensive energy. You're thinking things through. You know you have to make the decision. You're overwhelmed by the choices. But right here, dead center, we have this page, and this is really coming across to me as the vibe that you're wanting to create. Ultimately, when all of this is said and done and you've made these choices, you've made these decisions, I feel like you want to feel like you're free. You want to feel like you can do what you want to do. You don't want to feel like anything's holding you back. You don't want to feel controlled. You don't want to feel like there's any sort of influence in your life or any people in your life that are bringing you down or keeping your vibration at a low place. I want to take a look actually at this page because I feel like all of these cards here, these are the cards that are telling the story about like the choices and the decision and your energy. But this feels like what you're aiming for, and I want to see what we can do to try to support this. So I'm going to stick with this deck for now. At this point, I'm just going to go through and just free shuffle the deck and see what wants to come out to clarify this Page of Wands for Gemini. First part of November 2019. Clarify the Page of Wands for Gemini. Okay, so we have the 7 of Pentacles here coming out upright, along with the 5 of Wands, which has also come out upright here. So, it's interesting. So, Gemini, I feel like what's going on here, the reason that this Page of Wands is where you're aiming is because of this 5 of Wands is also connected to this energy. So this 5 of Wands represents all of the conflict, all of the tension, all of the disagreements, all the fighting, everything that you've had to sort of fight your way through leading up to this. So this is the connecting energy, I feel, to this all of these decisions. And I don't feel like this is just one decision. This is lots of decisions. I think that you're evaluating lots of people in your life, lots of things in your life. Lots of you could be deciding to change careers. You could be deciding to change location. You could actually be physically moving, even though we don't necessarily have those cards coming out yet. I wouldn't be shocked to see some of those cards come out that represent movement, because I feel like there's a lot of evaluation that's going on, and at the base of it is something that was very much a lot of challenging, difficult conflict type energy, and you're done with this. You're done with it. This card's very interesting to me because the 7 of Pentacles represents taking a look at something in terms of the long-term sustainability of something and the type of results that you can get from it. It's really being mindful of what you're investing your time in, what you're willing to invest your energy in. Again, with this free spirit energy, these two here, this is awesome energy in my opinion. This Page of Wands coming out with the Seven of Pentacles. I like this vibe. I think what you're realizing, Gemini, is that you've invested your time and your efforts in some people, in some situations, in some relationships, and some endeavors that have just not benefited you, that have not actually led to results that were good for you. And this is sort of the vibe, again, that you're looking at all of this through. I want to go through one more time just with this deck, and then I do have a couple of other decks here that I want to use. And I'm keeping these readings pretty short, Gemini, because again, we're just looking at 2 weeks of time here. There's only so much that can happen during that time. But let's just go through. We have one flip right away. Let's go through and just see what else wants to come out around this situation as we're seeing it. So I just want to point out here, you have the Seven of Wands now coming out. It's upright, and I'm going to put it here with this 5 because I think this is just coming out as an important message to you, Gemini. So this Seven of Wands represents energy that is, it can represent competition, a need to persevere, to keep going with something, challenges coming in. It can also represent competition. But what I really get from this, more so than anything, is just there's a very much a vibe here about protecting yourself from this energy. For me, since you have this 5 and then you have the 7 coming out, this to me shows a progression of you being actively engaged in the fighting, actively engaged in the drama, actively engaged in these, battles. And then being in a place where you're just on guard, you're ready to protect yourself from what's coming in, and your focus is on, really building something that is sustainable, something that's not going to be so intense, something that's not going to be quite as dramatic. Okay, so this is going really well so far. I'm going to switch over to this deck. I feel like this one is the one that I want to use. I do have another deck, so if this one goes quiet on us, I do have another one here within reach, but felt drawn to this one. It had the Ace of Coins peeking there, but we'll see if it wants to come out. Just going to see whether I want to do the deck no, I'm going to do the deck this way. I just want to take a look at the Seven of Wands to see if anything else wants to come out here as a clarifier for this. Just have a couple of cards come out. I feel like these cards are going to be this way, guys. I'm not going to read them on their side. So you have the King of Coins here coming out upright with the Four of Cups, which has also come out. They're both reversed, sorry. Then we have the Two of Coins with the Nine of Coins. So these three that are reversed, and then this one over here, I'm going to put it sort of off to its side. I'll tell you why. I want to start here with this King of Coins reversed. Gemini, I feel like one thing that's very important for you as you are in the Seven of Coins energy is to really pay attention to, I normally don't do this in love readings, but this doesn't actually have a ton of love to it, Gemini. It doesn't feel like a relationship type reading. So I'm going to actually go with this as being pretty true to its meaning. Okay, so this King of Coins here, when it's reversed, represents someone who maybe is not doing the best job managing their finances, or it can represent someone who's become almost obsessed with their status and wealth and obtaining money. So as you're looking at these long-term goals and what's sustainable, just keep in mind not to become too off balance in terms of money. So don't overspend. Don't do things that are, irresponsible in terms of your money, but also don't become obsessive about money. Just know that, this card coming out here, this Nine of Coins, the reason I put that off to the side is because this represents you being in a situation in which you will actually have abundance. You will actually have more than you need. You will be able to be financially independent. You can, live a life that's a little bit more luxurious. So don't overspend, because that can cost you this, but also don't worry too much. Don't become obsessed, because you do have this blessing card sitting here to the side. Now, you have this Four of Cups here that has come out reversed. And I don't necessarily feel like this is a bad thing, honestly. And the reason for that is because I feel like it just sort of aligns to what I was saying here. This thinking that you're doing, I just feel like this is the energy around that thinking. You've really pulled away. You've withdrawn from a lot of people, and you're just looking to see whether things align with what you are trying to create, right? When you're looking ahead and you're thinking about what you want to create in the future, everything that you have in the present and everything from the past is going through this decision making. This Four of Cups here, it fits well, I think, energetically for you, Gemini, with this Two of Swords. Because when the Four of Cups is upright, that is more of sort of like a meditation and sort of like contemplating things. But this is really pulling away, because I feel like you're making some decisions, and there are people that you're actually just cutting off. You're realizing that things didn't have a good foundation, things didn't have stability, and you're walking away from them. And I think that, you're just deciding here with this Two of Coins, which has come out reversed. This is, again, about reprioritizing things. It's about looking at areas where you've overcommitted, things that are not balanced, things that don't have the payoff that you're looking for. Okay, so again, it's just more of the same type of energy that you've had previously in the reading. But I don't feel like this is bad, because I think that sometimes Gemini, if they don't actually really pull themselves out of situations, it's easy for them to remain sort of stuck in them. Lightly stuck is how I want to say it, because it's almost like they don't cut it off completely, but they still engage a little bit here and there. But then that really starts to put them into their own mind and into their headspace. And then it's like, even if they're not engaging with it physically in the world, mentally and energetically, they're still very much attached to it, and it's still weighing them down. So seeing this Four of Cups in most readings, I would warn against it, because it is really sort of about withdrawing your energy, pulling away, being very pulled away. But in this situation, I think it's good, because in that contemplative, meditative state, Geminis can get very stuck. This Two of Swords would then become sort of like flipped, because then it's like you're at a stalemate with your own thoughts. You're in a place where you can't make a decision. But knowing that this card has come out here, and this is about maybe avoiding making decisions right now, but you're aware that there are difficult decisions to be made. You're weighing your options, and you're at a place where you can't put it off much longer, or it's time. It's time to start making these choices. And for some of you, you might actually already be actively engaged in making these decisions and deciding who's bringing this type of energy into your life, knowing who you need to protect yourself against, knowing what you're aiming for, right? Embodying that free spirit type of energy. The only thing here that feels like a warning is around this, which is around money and around overspending. But again, I pushed this card off to the side. I did talk about this a little bit, but this Nine of Coins, this is an awesome card to have come out, just because it's saying to you, like, just be mindful. If you're responsible with your money, if you're responsible with things, if you're not overspending, if you're not becoming obsessed with accumulating things, you're not becoming obsessed about, how much money you have, you will be provided for, you will be cared for. Okay. I do have this one last deck. We're coming up, approaching 20 minutes here with the reading, but I just want to go through this deck one time, see if anything else wants to come out. I feel like the cards have been repeating a lot, but I want to see if anything else wants to come out just on this topic. Anything else? Geminis, I feel like this is a good space for you, though. Making these decisions, I think, will lead to really good things, especially if you end up in a place where you feel like you have this free spirit type of vibe, you're embodying this Page of Wands energy, and and you have your money and everything taken care of, that's a sweet spot. That's a good place to be. I'm not going to ask anything specific. I just want to see if any cards want to come out of this. I'll go through twice. Okay. So in the deck, we have the World card, which has come out reversed. I'm just going to start here just because this represents a situation where things are not closed out yet. But when the World card comes out, even if it is reversed, I just need to point out that this is something that represents the closing out of a pretty big cycle. Okay. And I think that's what all this is. This is just confirmation that right now you're still working through this. It's not necessarily complete. This is going to be a sort of a delayed process of closing all this out. But this card still does represent to me things that will eventually close out, even when it is reversed. Then we have the Chariot. Remember earlier I said that I wouldn't be shocked if some of the cards that represent movement, action, actually came out. For me, the Chariot in this particular situation, this does represent, just confirmation that this will close out. But also, I do feel for some of you, you're just taking action soon. You're taking action soon in making change. And I think for some of you, like I said, like that could changing relationships, changing jobs, changing your physical location, changing your apartment, like whatever it is. I just sense change happening here, and it's a result of this free spirit energy and really manifesting, looking out at what you want to manifest. Okay. Nine of Pentacles coming out here. You have the Nine of Coins here. This is double confirmation. Do not stress out about money. Do not stress out about your financial things. You have blessings coming in here. And then the last card that came out from that, we have the Seven of Pentacles, which is reversed, which is the opposite of this, okay? I feel like this Seven of Pentacles reversed really has come out mostly as just a warning to you, Gemini. As you are making these decisions, as you're looking at these past situations, as you're looking at this Five of Wands, and you're in this Seven of Wands energy of feeling like you need to protect yourself, just being on guard, make sure that you learn the lessons. Make sure that you're not just making these decisions and being in a space where you're saying, okay, well, this person, I don't want them in my life because I don't want them in my life. Ask yourself, why did I allow this type of person into my life? Learn the lesson, because this is about being in a space where you're not thinking long term, and you're still investing in things that have limited success, limited possibility of being successful or having some type of reward for your investment in it. This is coming out to you to say, learn why you allowed this stuff from the very beginning. Ask yourself why you allowed that to be part of your life. How can you ensure that you don't do that again? Okay, this is all associated with the World, the Chariot, and this card. Okay, part of what's important in terms of taking action on this and making these changes is really looking at this and realizing how you can complete this closure so that you don't have to repeat any of it. I do just want to say the World with the Chariot, I feel like this is really important. The World coming out with the Chariot, even though the World is reversed here, I do feel like for some of you, there's actual physical movement. And again, this could just be travel, but I think for a lot of you, I'm curious, let me know in the comments if this is true. I feel like a lot of you are actually moving. It could just be a move across town, but I think for some of you, you're actually making some pretty big moves. And, with this coming out just associated with that, I just want to say, make sure that when you're looking at the move that you're just being mindful. You're being mindful of anything, especially, around, being in that spot of worrying about money. Make sure that, how you're spending your money, what you're putting your money into, if there's any sort of move, be mindful of it. So for example, if you're using a moving company, maybe call around and get some additional quotes. If you're, planning a trip, just, do some research just to make sure that you're not overspending for tickets or you're not being charged more for a hotel that you could get for cheaper. I just feel like it's that type of vibe in terms of looking at that meaning. But I think for most of you, this is really about learning these lessons and figuring out how to make sure that they don't happen in your life again. So Geminis, I think we're going to end it there, but I do have the Oracle deck here. Give it a couple of shuffles, pull one out for you guys, see what the Oracle wants to give you in terms of any advice for this first half of November. One more time. Just gonna shuffle these. I guess it wants me to pick, so I'm gonna feel my way through here. Back here. This one. All right, Geminis. Hope is a conduit for miracles. So Gemini's I think this is a good way to end this for you, honestly, because this, again, going back to that notion of free spirit and really looking at what you want to cultivate, what you want in terms of building this life, building this future, having things look the way that you want them to look a year from now, 2 years from now, 5 years from now. Being in that hopeful energy is really how you will start to manifest it. And just know that you have double confirmation here that you're going to be taken care of. You're going to be provided for. The things that you need, you will be able to afford them, and you will have money that's left over. If you've had any sort of difficult financial situation in the past, just know that that's definitely going to be clearing up, because you have the 9 of coins here coming out twice in this reading. So that's just a definite, double confirmation here. So Geminis, I've really enjoyed doing this reading for you. I think it's really great, awesome energy. I hope that you guys enjoyed it as well. Let me know in the comments what you thought. If you did like the video, give it a thumbs up. If you're not subscribed to the channel yet, please take a moment to subscribe and join up with the other people here. I will see you guys after the middle of the month with a mid-month check-in for you. Hope that everything goes well. Until then, I love you guys so much. I'll see you soon.